So, everybody, we have a very special guest with us today. This is Justin with Hurdy Gurdy Travel Podcast, and you can find him on YouTube and all socials, right?
That's right. Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, are the main ones for me.
Okay. Isn't it funny? Everybody always says X, formerly known as Twitter. News stations are doing that, I've noticed. But so we're really excited because I met Jason in Vegas at a Points and Miles conference that we were both at, and got to listen to him speak a couple of times. And he really knows how to do this Points and Miles game. But more importantly, to our audience, he really knows how to do this Points and Miles game when it comes to casinos. And that's what we're going to talk about specifically today. So let's talk about you have successfully tier status match, right? You want to
That's right. Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that and a little bit about you?
Yeah, so I quit my full-time job in about 2019. I was working as a counselor in elementary schools. I picked up the miles and points hobby in 2018 and found that the gains from it, coupled with gambling, were more lucrative and allowed for more time freedom compared to working. Since I've unlocked travel through the miles and points hobby, I wanted to travel more, have more freedom of time, more flexibility. So 2018, 2019, fast forward now to 2025, still unemployed or self-employed, and life's been going pretty well. I got
And
into,
that's awesome. That's what we teach on our channel is how to travel for less. And that's Mike and I's passion too, is to travel for less and get the most out of those points and rewards. So everybody, if you like this content, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And we will definitely be getting Justin back on here again. Let us know what you want to hear. Go ahead,
yeah,
Justin.
I got into gambling through a local casino promotion. This was in northeastern Pennsylvania, Casino Mohegan Sun, Pennsylvania now. Used to be Mohegan Sun Pocono Downs or Mohegan Sun Pocono. They had an offer where if you bought a certificate for $50, you would get $50 in food credit and $50 in free play. So I originally looked into, oh, well, can I at least break even on this and get some free food at the casino? So that's where I found video poker. That was one of the first games that I started with, Jacks or Better video poker. So I would run through the $50 in free play, capture the food credits, and scale this up, getting a lot of friends into it too, that I would effectively bankroll them and would say, hey, just come with me at casino. You don't have to put up any money. We'll just split the food. So after playing video poker with that promotion for several years, it went on. I then got into No Limit Hold'em. So I started playing originally Texas Hold'em online and transitioned to casino games. So now I'm playing in mid-stakes poker games and doing the miles and points thing. So it's been about 9 years, I think, of poker at this point and video poker as well that I've gotten recently into to acquire Caesar's diamond status after a lot of the status matching with Caesar's recently came to an end.
So did you status match that or did you earn that diamond status?
So originally I was matching into it with the Wyndham business credit card, but now that's coming to an end. Wyndham is no longer going to be giving the Caesars Diamond status. So my plan was to get the Caesars Rewards Visa card, which I don't think it's talked about too much as it's not amazing. But from my calculations, you're getting halfway to regular Diamond just with the credit card, putting spend on the credit card from the sign up bonus, and it has a high spend goal that if you spend about 5,000 in a calendar year, you get 5,000 tier credits. So you get 5,000 tier from the 5K or so spend, and then the sign up bonus in year one gives you, I believe, 2,500 tier. So what I did after the 7,500, I went to Atlantic City on one of the tier multiplier days and played video poker to get the remainder of the tier credits that I needed.
Are you any good at video poker? I've tried that
Ooh.
and I'm not very good at it. And I've
Yes,
read books.
yeah, as I mentioned, it's been an ongoing thing. I got a bit rusty, I must admit, because I haven't been playing, but I got back to practicing on the videopoker.com training app. They have a feature to add strategy or corrections where if you make a mistake, it will tell you you made a mistake. So it helps you become a better player, and then you learn what to hold, what to discard. So I think after a lot of time of doing it, you get used to the patterns, and you could also use strategy cards from
Mhm.
wizardofodds.com in conjunction with the training app. So I've gotten a lot faster and a lot better, and I'm around 99% accuracy in the app. Sometimes the straight hands I think can be confusing if you have something like ace, king, queen, 10. If some of them are suited, you want to hold the suited cards. If they're offsuit, it's a little bit different. So there are a little bit exceptions, but I think that you can be a pretty decent player with a little bit of practice and maybe doing about 5 or 10 minutes a day most day. I don't think it's too difficult.
Maybe I'll have to practice more because Mike and I
Ooh.
practice and practice and practice. Then we go to the casino and we're like, okay, that didn't work. Nothing works for that. I'm much better at slots where I don't have to think and they do it all for me.
Yeah, I'm more a fan of the video poker because it's typically a lesser house edge. As I
Yes.
hear a lot from people of, oh, well, I'm worried. What if I lose $100, $200? What if I lose this? What if I lose that? So I'm generally recommending the games where you have the lowest amount of house edge and then trying to stack other promotions like the tier multipliers. And you recently posted that there are going to be several tier multipliers coming up in early 2025.
There are. And it's that's a hard thing to post, but we do try to post those as we see them coming up. But even when you post them and then you see more come out. So it's possible to keep that updated, but we do try to get the bulk of them. But what I can tell people is be sure to watch in your app and your mail. You'll get mailers on that, you'll get emails on that. And so if you're looking for those 10-time multipliers, that's what's worked for Mike and I, is taking advantage of 2 or 3 or even 4 of those 10-time multiplier events. And this year we were able to get to 7-star with our play and, with taking advantage of those tier multipliers and our credit card spend has been helpful with Caesars. Although I like MGM credit card a lot better than Caesars.
Yeah.
But I think the key thing that you said there is if you have the Caesars credit card, they do cap you, right? So go for that $5,000 a year so that you maximize get those 10,000 tier points. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. The Caesars rewards card isn't so rewarding after that initial 5K in spend because the categories aren't very interesting. They're not very competitive. You get 5X at Caesars destinations. So maybe if you have to pay taxes and fees for hotel rooms or you have some incidental charges. But for me, I'm using my comps to offset some of
Mhm.
the hotel expenses, some of the food expenses. And I find the MGM comps to be more valuable. When I go to Borgata in Atlantic City, I usually stay at Harrah's, but I almost never eat at Harrah's because I go to the Amphora Lounge at Borgata where I'm only paying $12.50 and getting all I can eat, all I can drink. It's open 7 days a week, most weeks, versus Caesars that has really tanked the quality of the lounges. And you have to pay $10 to get in with Diamond and Diamond Plus. So if I could pay $12.50 for better quality food, better quality alcohol, a better environment, I'm just going to do that at Borgata. So there's some uplift there. But at the higher Caesar status, maybe you get the 7 Stars Lounge and go to those, at least in Atlantic City. Or I believe Diamond Elite gives you the complimentary lounge access with Caesars.
Right. And in Vegas, they have if you're Diamond Elite and 7 stars, you have to still qualify. So you still have to have a good theoretical or ADT, but you get the $100 a day in drink credit, which is nice. I mean, that can go for waters, large waters. It can go for coffee at Starbucks, and it can go for alcoholic drinks at certain bars at every Caesar hotel in Vegas. Mike was Diamond Elite last year, and I was 7 star. So I tell you, those days that you don't really want to sit there and wait on a drink, it's really nice to have that.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
that's $100 a day value, which is significant, right?
And I think that's an unadvertised benefit. I had Diamond Plus in past years, and I was able to get the four $20 drinks a day. But when I'm looking at the Caesars website,
And
it
I'm
wasn't
telling
on there, but I was still able to do it. I think it was a printed voucher system when I did it, and now they just scan your card. So hopefully the cashier doesn't make a mistake and accidentally take off reward credits or
right.
comps.
That's
We're at
for
the
sure.
mercy of the cashiers. Oh, we
Yeah.
just use your comps.
So be
Uh,
sure to watch that too. And
yeah.
and they don't advertise it. We've done some short videos and things on that, and we'll do more as this year comes. But when you check into your hotel, just always be sure to say, "Do I have any drink credits available?" And they can tell you right when you check in. The other mistake I've made with that is saving them, like because I think I'll drink all those in the evening, but then you get really good service at the machine. So I've started using them for my daily Starbucks, so that I at least get one.
Yeah.
You know that I don't
Yeah,
have to,
that's a
or
good
use
plan.
my reward credits, even though they usually will comp all of our charges at the end of the stay. I still think that then you save those for other bigger purchases. So that's kind of cool benefit. So let's talk about, first of all, if you're not a big player and you want to do some status matching, can you give us some guidance on that? If
Yes,
you know you're not going to earn a higher status, like how can an average low roller player take advantage of some of these tier status matches?
to go back to the credit cards, you mentioned the Caesars Rewards Visa that's going to get you about halfway to diamond. So
Mhm.
you can't get just to diamond with the credit card. You'll have to play some games, preferably on the tier multiplier days to get to diamond. So I'm not sure at the moment if Caesars Diamond is matching to many places, but I know that MGM has been very valuable for me in past years, and I was able to get to MGM Gold and MGM Platinum just using the MGM credit card. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
been an amazing entryway. I live in Pennsylvania. I'm about 20 minutes from New Jersey. So I have online blackjack. And I know with the MGM MasterCard that there are at least 2 times a year, most years, where you get 3 times tier and 3x comps if you use the MGM MasterCard to load to bet MGM. So now I have a credit limit of $21,000 on the card. It was 18,000, but I called today and asked for a credit limit increase. I usually don't do that, but this card is so valuable to me to get the status. So the more credit I have, the more I can spend and get the status. So when this 3x promo drops, even if I were to load 15,000 to bet MGM, that's 45,000 tier. So that's getting you more than halfway to gold status. And often these promotions will last for 3 or 4 weeks. So the timing can be really good. Where, say, if they started the promotion on, let's say, February 1st, and your statement closed February 15th, well, you can do the loads from the 1st to the 15th, max out the credit limit, gambling responsibly, of course, and gambling well. And then after the statement closes, you can run up the card again. So you can double dip the promo. So in just one of those promos, if you're in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Michigan, or other states with online table games, you can max that out in blackjack and get that gold status. So I've done that on the credit card. I've done that 3x promotion. And I also use the card for 2x grocery and 2x fuel because I can buy various prepaid cards and gambling gift cards and then use those on DraftKings, FanDuel, and many other online sites.
So you buy the prepaid gift cards, if that counts as your grocery.
Yes, so anything you buy inside of a grocery store, it still codes as grocery. Even if you didn't buy bananas, if you decided to buy $2,000 in gift cards, you still get the 2x there. So I
Right.
have local supermarket chains like Giant, Weiss, Acme, and a lot of these stores will sell the DraftKings. They'll sell the FanDuel gift cards, sometimes Game On gift cards that these are used on multiple sites. So I look for the fuel points promos and the grocery promos. And Weiss in Pennsylvania is going to be running what they're calling the big game promotion because I don't think they can use the word Super Bowl. Maybe you can. I don't know if we can use it on here, but they don't use it. And they're giving bonus points. So if you were to buy $500 worth of FanDuel gift cards, for instance, you're going to get 500 Weiss points. And you could turn in those 500 Weiss points for free pizza, free hot sauce, free mustard, and a lot of other items. So you're getting the 2x on the MGM card, and then you're getting a rebate back in groceries. And you can also use it to get rebates on fuel. So
So
even though you're not buying groceries, you're buying gift cards, you're getting the 2x tier and the 2x comps using the MGM MasterCard.
nice. That's a great little hack. So unfortunately, we're in Texas, so we don't have gambling, so we can't take advantage. We're one of the few states that cannot do that yet. So
Yeah.
we can take advantage of that. And I was actually looking at my statement today, and they're not real clear on it to
No.
show
Yeah,
you
they're
where your points are going. Like mine's on everyday spend.
Yeah,
Um,
they put it in that category, but even though it's grocery, it'll say everyday spend, so it's really confusing. But
it,
you know where you spend, and the individual transactions will code as grocery, as fuel, as MGM, whatever. I wouldn't recommend using the card for other non-bonused spend. I'd only do it on the 2x, 3x.
and that's what we do. So we use our MGM and our Caesars card strictly for groceries, for fuel, and when we're at those properties.
Yeah,
Um, that's where we see the most benefit
yeah.
with. But that's a good hack to use, to buy some of those gift cards. Or if you're buying a gift card for someone, buy it at a Kroger or a Weis and be able to kind of double
Yes.
dip that way. So
Yeah.
let me ask you a question on the BetMGM. So if you do the BetMGM the way you said and you load it with $15,000, how do you get your money back?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So at the checkout or the cashier page on BetMGM, it gives you the option to deposit and it will show MGM Rewards MasterCard. So then it'll just ask you for the card information, CVV, date, card number, and you make the deposit. And then you would play through the funds always at least 1x. If you don't do that, then you might get shut down. You might get adverse action. It doesn't look good to the sites. They don't like that. So I'm giving up about a 0.5% playing the or half of 1% house edge, a 0.5% house edge. I'm giving up playing the multi-hand blackjack surrender game. So I've practiced blackjack a great deal. I have a multiple monitor setup. I have the strategy card with me. So if I have a question on hand, I just look at the strategy card. I use one from the website blackjackapprenticeship.com. So if I deposit, let's say $1,000, I'll play through exactly $1,000 or a little bit more if there's a double and split at the end. And then when it comes to withdrawing the funds after playing, they give you various options for check in the mail or ACH or pick up at the casino. So usually I do the ACH. So then I connect a bank checking account, a personal checking account, and then the funds get withdrawn to there. Sometimes it's a little bit quirky. It has you verify the account first by making a deposit, and then you can withdraw. So if you deposit with the MGM credit card, you might have to then say deposit $5 with your TD bank account, play through that five, and then you could withdraw the funds to TD. So even though you're depositing with the credit card, you can still get the money out to a checking account.
Okay, and that's interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
and I
such a good promotion. I would recommend that you would even fly into New Jersey and try to pair an Atlantic City trip with that 3x promo to help you get to maybe platinum or to help you get to gold for the year. I think it's just so amazing that they're offering that as an option.
that is. So you're saying even if in Texas we can't fly into Atlantic City or New Jersey and take advantage of being able to do that. So if you're on a trip, then you could still sit there and play blackjack
Correct. You
or
just need to be physically located in the state. So even though your actual home address is Texas, you can fly from Texas to New Jersey. And since you're physically located in the state of New Jersey when you're playing, you're still able to do it.
but you would
So
need to play that all the way out. Um,
yeah, so I would plan for something like an Atlantic City trip with that, or maybe you're going to Pennsylvania or New Jersey for a different reason. Bring your laptop with you and just have a session where you're going to play through all the funds. So I even just sit there with a click counter. So if I were to deposit 1,000, for example, and play $5 a hand, I'll do 1,000 divided by five, put the result in the click counter. America loves math, to try to make the math pretty easy and I'm just clicking as I'm playing to keep track of my play. Unfortunately, it's different than if you were to play video poker or a different game in the casino, and it will show you how much you've earned in that session so you can calculate how much you played. But there's no tracker on their site showing how much you played. Sometimes they pop up a window that says reality check 15 minutes, you've wagered this or that. But I don't want to play more than I have to because I don't want to give up more to the house. So if
right.
I'm getting the 3x tier, I'm getting the 3x comps or free play. I just want to play through that money exactly once to not expose myself further. I just want to give up the least amount possible.
Right, for sure. And I also want to be sure to caution people if you're going to work this credit card game, which is a great game to work to help you get some great benefits. Just be sure you're paying those credit cards off every single month because if you don't pay them off by the due date, then you're going to rack up a lot of interest charges, and then you're really defeating the purpose. So,
Oh yes.
gotta
Yeah,
have good.
gamble responsibly, use credit responsibly, don't pay interest, and you're just going to get the money back into your checking account after your session. So you're not playing over your head and you could just use that money to then pay off the credit card. So
Right.
all should be well. You're gambling intelligently, you're gambling responsibly.
Right, and pay those credit cards off at the end of that cycle. So
Yep.
that's so important. So let's talk a little bit more specifically. So once you earn a status, so say you're platinum or gold, say you're gold with
Yep.
MGM, or what are the best tier matches that you've seen? Like
Yeah, so
how to work that?
yeah, we're recording in early January 2025. I believe it's still the case that you can take that physical MGM gold card or platinum card or the Caesars diamond card, the physical card, they don't accept, oh, here's a screenshot, here's this, here's that. You would take it to Hard Rock in Atlantic City, and Hard Rock will give you the icon status that was formerly Rock Royalty. And if it's your first time matching to Hard Rock, they might throw in 2 free hotel nights that have to be used within 60 or 90 days. They might throw in some free play. They might throw in some buffet or lounge access as a first time customer. But on the rematch side, they don't give you the free hotel nights. They just give you the card. But that's okay that you're still getting the card. And then I'd walk from Hard Rock to Ocean, not Oceans Casino. People are calling it Oceans Casino, but there's no S, there's no apostrophe S. The social media has even clarified that. So I walk from Hard Rock to Ocean, and there I present my Hard Rock icon card, or if you have MGM Platinum already, or if you have 7 stars or perhaps a higher diamond status, you can't match regular diamond, unfortunately. Ocean will give you the prime status, and the prime status will give you a complimentary cruise with MSC. It's been devalued. It's now only domestic because if you wanted to do the international cruise, I believe there or a European cruise, they're racking on an additional fee of something like 1,000 or $1,500. So I don't think that's a good deal. So you could take a Caribbean cruise with them, I believe is the play. You get complimentary hotel nights for a future stay, and you also get 2 guest passes into the Avila Lounge, which is their Players Club lounge or Players Lounge for the higher statuses. But it appears that they changed the rules at Ocean recently. This happened, I believe, early December, that you need, I believe it was 150 tier points in order to get these, what they call travel benefits, or at least the cruise.
Which
And
150 tier points really isn't much.
yeah, I don't think it's too much. I was seeing data points that maybe you have to play $50 in video poker to get 1 tier point. So your theoretical loss at getting 150 tier, I don't think that's going to be too bad. Or if you decided to play table games or do something else, it might take longer to play table games. I mentioned video poker because I think the tier accumulation goes very fast. Whereas table games, if you're not being rated well, and if you're a low roller, it might take a long time to earn those tier points.
And
So
we
I
have
think
some
it's okay.
great videos that we've done and more to come with taking just a budget and playing slots. So we recently have one up that's $300 a day, and we show how we play that $300 a day in slots and exactly what that is. We lost less than $100 by doing that, and we have some others that'll be coming up. So if you're interested in playing slots, those are good videos to go watch and see how we do those. I think it helps people really to see the win loss, over a few days. But the key to that is the discipline, right? So I don't ever use a ticket. I always put it in my safe box, in my purse, because it helps you save it. I don't play through. We have rules like if you double your money, you get out. I mean, so we talk through that on the channel. So if you're not interested in video poker or tables, if you're interested in gambling, those are videos that you might want to watch for that. So we always take our goal when we go to the casino is to get everything paid for. So our hotel, our flight, and our meals. And then we have our entertainment budget. So that if we lose that entertainment budget, we still feel like we're ahead because we didn't have to pay for any of the things while we're on the trip, right? That's kind of how we do it. So, okay, so you take it then over to Ocean, and then you can get is it called the Avila Lounge?
The Avila Lounge, yep.
Okay, we've never been to Atlantic City, so that's a new trip that
Oh,
we're going to do this year. We've been to Atlantic City, but we've never been to Atlantic City to gamble. Let me clarify that. So that's going to be a trip we're going to do, hopefully the first part of the year.
yeah.
Be fun.
Borgata is really fantastic. I think the M4 lounge there is tremendous value. 1250, really good alcohol. I've been there a few times and people would complain that the alcohol was too strong, which you don't hear about too much. People
Yeah,
saying, "Oh, this was kind of strong. Can you bring a weaker one the next time?" Is that maybe they're so used to the watered down drinks on the main floor. So then
yeah,
they get the real stuff in the lounge. It's really good. And I think Vegas, they've done away with a lot of that as well, where they used to have the Laurel lounges or the Diamond lounges with Caesars. And after 2019, on or around 2019, then they started shutting those down. So now my play in Vegas is playing the My Vegas mobile games that I have all these phones, and I have a video on this too. I call it the Phone Army, where I'm spinning these games or putting these games on auto spin generating rewards with MGM, and then I could stack the comps from the MGM MasterCard with rewards like 20 off of 40 food, 25 off of 50, buy one, get one buffet, and so much more. So when I'm in Vegas, I'm almost exclusively eating with MGM because the offers are just so good.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've watched that video and I've heard you speak on that.
Yeah.
Uh, so back to that tier matching. So you take your MGM card, platinum, or a diamond elite card or a 7-star card from Caesars, and to Ocean. No, to Hard Rock, and you match for the icon in Atlantic City. And
Yep.
then you go from there, take your icon card over to Ocean, then you match to what did you call it?
Ocean
Ocean
Prime status. Yeah.
Prime. Okay. And then what do you do? Is there anything else or is that the end of it?
That appears to be the end of it. I don't believe that MGM is doing a status match at this time. They had a status challenge that was going on in 2024, but that died later in the year. So we'll see what happens in 2025. We're recording here in January. I think a lot of it has ended, but I believe the match to Hard Rock is still on, and the match to Ocean is definitely still on with that little bit of play requirement. And it's also worth mentioning that part of the travel benefit that they're talking about at Ocean when you earn the tier, you have to play to earn the tier, that you also get 2 free nights at Wynn Las Vegas and a little bit of a dining credit too. So I think that Ocean match is really valuable. Although now I think that you're only allowed to do it every 2 years. And they put in this really odd requirement that if you gamble, it resets the timer. So you have to be an inactive player for 2 years.
That seems
So
like
yeah.
I like who made that rule?
Right. It's like an old episode of South Park. Cartman opened a theme park, and the appeal was that he was the only one who can go there and no one else can go in. So everybody wanted to go in. But now at Ocean, it's like, we don't want you to gamble. Or
Did,
if you're going to gamble, we're just not going to give you a tier match because you're a quote unquote active player. So you're getting penalized for being an active player. So if I were the marketing team, I would definitely change that policy because I would want people to come in and gamble rather than discouraging them by having a 2 year timer.
so that's with Ocean, not with Hard Rock. That's just with
Correct.
Ocean.
That's with Ocean. Yeah,
So
Hard Rock has been very generous of matching again. They're just not giving you the free room, the free play, and the other benefits for rematching to
you
the
have to earn
icon.
that to get those comps moving forward.
Ooh, well, you would have to get some play to get the comps, but there's an interesting thing. I'll maybe break the news with you to some extent here on the podcast that Hard Rock has also released a credit card. This press release went out in December, and I
Not
just heard about it. I think yesterday or January 1st. And the credit card isn't impressive, but the interesting thing is that it earns some comps on grocery spend and some other categories. So if you match to the Hard Rock icon status, you could at least use the credit card some to earn comps and then get in the icon lounge or the players lounge at Hard Rock. And you can also go into the buffet for, I believe, $10 or $12.50, similar to Borgata. So you can
oh,
tier
interesting.
match in, and then you could earn comps using the Hard Rock credit card. And this, of course, will allow you to eat in Vegas and other Hard Rock locations when that Hard Rock Guitar Hotel Casino opens in Vegas, allegedly 2027. But we'll see
You know,
about that.
the big two, as we know, are the Caesars and the MGM. But I'm really interested to see what happens with Hard Rock. I think it's the next up and coming and going to give Caesars and MGM a little bit of competition.
I hope so. Competition is good for us
It is.
players.
It is good. It is. And I've never gambled at a Hard Rock. So this will be the year that we get to visit some Hard Rocks. We're going to go over to Atlantic City, do some status matching there, and then we hope to visit some of the Hard Rock casinos. So I'm kind of excited about that because we're destination jackpot. So we're all about
Yeah.
destinations, right? And I think
Yes.
Hard Rock has some great destinations. So I'm excited about that.
Yes, I'll be in Florida for cruises, so I plan on stopping at the Hard Rock locations in Florida in
Yeah,
2025. I keep looking down because I don't want to say the improper year. It's 2025.
2025. We are in 2025, believe it or not. Like I still feel like we're in the 90s. Like I can't even believe we are a quarter through the century. It's crazy to me. But okay, so let's talk about now MGM and Caesars credit cards specifically. So you want to kind of talk about the difference between the two and kind of give us a spill on those credit cards and how to use those.
Yes. So the sign-up bonuses on both of them are approximately $100 in comps, although sometimes they throw in a little bit of a bonus. Sometimes they throw in a little bit of a tier bonus. The Caesars credit card, you get the 2,500 tier for signing up for the card and spending about $1,000 in 3 months. So that should be super easy for our listeners. And then if you spend 5,000 in a year, you get a bonus 5,000 tier. So you can get 7,500 tier total from the Caesars credit card in calendar year, card member year one. It could get a little bit confusing, but 7,500 basically in the first year with the credit card. And in ongoing years, if you spend 5,000 in a calendar year, you get another 5,000 tiers. So it's unclear as to whether you can do that twice in the first year if it goes over. But I think it's pretty safe to say do 5,000 a calendar year on the card to get the bonus tier.
And better to do grocery spend and gas spend
Oh, well,
or
no, they changed it. So it's no longer 2x grocery on the Caesars card. It used to be 2x grocery. So
okay.
now it's 2x travel, 2x entertainment. So the categories really aren't so interesting on that card. They're not competitive. So you'd probably just want to put unbonus spend on the Caesars card. So for other credit cards you have, maybe you're paying something like estimated taxes and you don't have any cards that are bonusing the tax payments, or if you just have some general other expenses that aren't covered. Because if I have, say, a card that gives me 5% at home improvement stores, I'm not going to go to Lowe's and use the Caesars card and get only
Right.
1x. That would
Correct.
really be bad. So trying to do unbonus spend on the Caesars card.
Right. Okay. So
So the
unbonus.
5,000 a year, I
So,
think for most
so
people.
don't put your groceries or your fuel. For sure,
Yeah.
don't do that. Put other spend on there, but make sure that you're hitting that 5,000 a year so that you're getting that 5,000 bonus. Because as you said, to get to diamond, it's only 15,000. So that puts you almost to diamond right there, just with the credit card spend. Then you play a little and you earn it. And if you catch some of those 10-time multipliers, you really easily could get yourself up to diamond elite. So the
Yes.
way the 10 times multipliers work at Caesar's property or the 5 times, let's just talk about the 10 times because that's easy math. So if you go into the casino in one day and you do 1,000 tier credits, you're going to get a bonus of 10,000 tier credits for that day. If you do go in the next day and you do 2,000, you're going to get a bonus of 10,000. So then you're going to be at 22,000 right there. Um, so if you do that 4 days in a row, then you're going to have 44,000 points, which is going to get you, you do 44,000 points plus the 10,000 on your credit card spend, you're going to be at 55,000. Am I right? Is my math right?
America loves math.
Yeah, right, right. And I'm
But
not
it's
the best
it's it's
at math.
about that. You
Yeah,
get the idea.
yeah, it's
And
right
then
around in that. So that's going to get you to Diamond Plus, and then you need to make the decision from there. So with the Diamond Plus, got to get my glasses on to read this. With the Diamond, you're going to get the $100 celebration dinner, priority hotel check-in. You're not going to pay resort fees, which is a big deal because you may be able to get a free room, but if you have to pay a $50, and I think those just went up to $55 at most of those Caesars casinos, $55 a day is still a lot. That's not a free room, in my opinion. So getting to that diamond status and waiving that resort fee, I think is a definitely a big one. You can pay to get into the Laurel Lounge, which we know there are not many anywhere, but you do get a 20% discount at casino gift shops. You also get a complimentary stay at Atlantis, and we're hoping that continues for 2025. So far, I've heard that it is. I know you're going later this month. Uh,
yes,
and are you Diamond status or Diamond Plus?
I'm Diamond Plus. So I was very close to Diamond at the end of I was very close to Diamond at the end of 2024. And then when I heard about, okay, no more freebie Diamond status from the Wyndham Business Credit Card, then that's when I put in a little bit of play to get over. And then I noticed the 5x tier multiplier. So, oh, actually, it wouldn't cost me so much to get to the Diamond Plus. So I went ahead and just put in extra play and got to the Diamond Plus. I'm also looking in my notes to get the math correct here. that they also have the earn in a day bonuses.
They do.
So if you earn 500 base tier credits in a day, you get an additional 125 tier credit bonus, and that's not multiplied as far as I know. If you earn a base 1,000 tier credits in a day, you get a 1,000 tier credit bonus. That's not multiplied. And then I think the sweet spot is if you earn 2,500 base tier in a day before multipliers, you get an additional 5,000 tier credit bonus. So that's really good. If you could aim for that 2,500 tier in a day, if you have sufficient bankroll and some time to do it during the tier multiplier promotions, I think that'll really put you over. And the way I'm looking at it for video poker is playing about 835, 850 tier credits in the morning, take a break, go to lunch, come back, play about 835, 850 tier, go to dinner, come back and play again. So I'm breaking up the session into 3 sessions in one gaming day. I think it's best to do that at the Zork Fest event that we went to that's going to be happening again in December. A lot of speakers, including the organizer, Michael Traeger, they advocated for what they called the big day of play to try to concentrate your play into one day, and
Mhm.
you'll perhaps get better offers for returning. So if you could stack these earn tier credit in a day milestone bonuses with the tier multiplier bonuses and have that big day of gaming, personally, I think that's the best way to approach it.
I absolutely agree with that. And I always tell people to make sure and keep an eye, and you can swipe your card at any of the kiosks and see where you are for that day of play. But you want to make sure, first of all, depending on your property, what time the day starts and what time it ends. That's the first clue, because if you're in Vegas, it's one way, but if you're in Atlantic City, it's going to be different. So to be sure to look at that. But then I also say, before going to bed or calling it a night, make sure you swipe and see where you're at, because I myself have been less than 100 points away from getting in that next tier, and I'm like, oh, if I would have just thought about it, I would have done that. So there are so many ways. I'm trying to make this simple. So
Yes, it's a lot of math, but
it's
you
a
get the
lot of
point.
math. So the first easiest thing to do with Caesars, if I can sum this up, is to do your 5,000 a year on your Caesars credit card and be sure to pay it off so you're not paying those entry fees or interest fees. The second best thing is to, if you're whenever you're in the casino, is to watch those daily tier multipliers if you just go on any random time. But the very best way is to try to plan your trips. If you follow us on socials, we post when we see those for a 10-time multiplier. They at least have those 4 to 5 times every single year. Try to plan your trips around that, because then you're getting your daily tier that you earn plus that bonus if you're watching it, that daily tier multiplier bonus, plus your 10x. And you can get yourself to Diamond Elite status pretty quickly without a huge bankroll. So that to me is the best way to work that the Caesars space. Do you agree?
Yes, and I had a tip from one of the Zorkfest attendees or a friend that I had met in Atlantic City that he was saying for bankroll considerations even, you might even consider playing on video poker. They have what they call 100 play machines with lower denominations. So instead of playing, say, a game that's more math here, 1 credit or sorry, $1 5 credits. So to be $5 a hand or a spin on a single line of video poker. At least Harrah's Atlantic City has multiple 100 play games where you can play a penny 5 credit. So it's 5 cents a hand, but 100 hands. So
Huh.
on the first hand, if you were to get a hand like, say, ace, ace, deuce, six, nine. You would hold the aces. So then the aces would lock in for all 100 hands, and then it does the draw. So it's really interesting because you get to see more hands because a lot of the return in video poker, I think, is based on the royal flush. So
Right.
if you don't see a royal flush, you don't really get in as many hands, then okay, then maybe your expectation in the game is like 2 or 3% less. So this allows you to see more hands. So I think that this will also reduce variance, the day-to-day ups and downs of the whole thing. The expected value will probably be the same if the machines have similar pay tables. That's at the top of the machine will tell you what hand pays what, and you could plug that into Wizard of Odds. They have a calculator to determine the payout of the machine. So the 100 play, I think, can really help, and maybe players would be more comfortable with that penny, 5 credit multiplay machine rather than just playing something like $5 on one hand. So that
Yeah,
could be a helpful tip there. Because
that is it.
if you're
That
dealt a
maybe
nothing hand, you hold nothing. You have like total garbage. You're dealt like 10, 7, 5, 3 deuce, like all offsuit, no flushes, nothing. Like in single play, if you were to hold nothing and you only get one chance to draw to get something, and you would lose your whole $5 bet in one hand. But with 100 play, it's very unlikely that you would lose your entire bet in one hand because you'll probably draw out to at least a jacks or better on some of the hands.
right. Okay. That's very interesting. Maybe at some point this year we can meet up and we can actually do it
Yeah.
or some play on the video poker and talk through some of that and even look at some of the different machines and that kind of thing. That would be kind of fun. So we'll have to get our calendars together and make that happen. So I think we kind of capped Caesars really well.
Yes.
So now let's talk about MGM. Um, so for us, we've always tried to decide, are we going to work MGM or are we going to work Caesars? This year we were well, I've always been platinum with MGM. Let me say that since they changed over. And we've always gotten Diamond Elite. Because we're gambling so much more, because we're creating content this year, we were able to earn 7 stars and earn platinum at MGM. But before we did this, gambled as much as we are now, what Mike and I would try to do is pick the destinations that we want to go to, which one of the MGM or Caesars gave us the most bang for our buck, right? So we love MGM in Vegas. It's our favorite because we like every casino that they have to play at. I don't love every Caesars to play in Vegas, if I'm just being very honest. But what Caesars does is it gives us those destinations. So we love Tahoe. There's several. Then you get to do the Atlantis trip. There's a lot of destination type things that you can do, but it's hard for most players to work both. But if you listen to what we're saying here today, it is possible to kind of work both of those if you put some of this creativity to it and really keep up with it and watch the spins. So I know with MGM that they have an accelerator. They don't do the 10 times like Caesars does as often, but if you pay attention to your email and you pay attention to your mail, they oftentimes will give you a 2x or a 3x or a 5x different events. We just were in Beau Rivage at Biloxi, and we got a 3-time multiplier. I think Mike got 3-time. I got a 2-time multiplier just for swiping the machine. That wasn't advertised anywhere. So always, any casino that you're at, first thing I say to do is walk the floor, see what's new, see what's changed. The second thing you want to do is swipe your card to see what is available, no matter what casino you're playing at. Those are 2 big tips before you ever put a dollar in the machine, because you want to make sure if there is a multiplier that you're capturing that from the beginning. I've made that mistake one too many times where I go in and I start playing and I never even go swipe and I miss a multiplier. So be sure to do those 2 things. But at MGM, everyone thought that their accelerator ended on December 31st, but they now have extended that through March 31st. Another piece I want to point out is that the point differences. So if you get 1,000 points at Caesars, what I find that to be equivalent to at MGM is 5,000 points. So 5,000 sounds like a whole lot at MGM, but it isn't really. It's equivalent to 1,000 over at Caesars. And I have to really think about what property I'm at to make that translation in my head. The other piece with um, uh, MGM, so we were like 11,000 points from making platinum. And we decided at the end of the year to take a non-working trip. We weren't going to work. We were only going to have just play, right? Right before New Year's Eve. So we did that and it was so much fun. I think we're going to make that a tradition. Because I wanted to keep that platinum status because your points multiply much faster. So I think it's 20,000, it's 30,000 if you're gold, and 20%, 30% if you're gold, and 40% faster if you're platinum. So that's something to keep in mind. Does that make sense, what I just said?
Yes, and the tier requirements for gold, it's 75K tier for MGM gold, 200K tier for MGM platinum. Although
Right.
I'm proposing something a little bit more radical because I've played zero slots, zero video poker, nothing with MGM in 2024, 2023. I've gotten platinum status exclusively from online blackjack and the credit card spend. Because if I can get the 3x during the promotional periods with the MGM credit card and even $15,000 in credit limit for 3x for 45K, doing that twice in one promo gets it to 90K, about halfway to platinum. Add in some 2x grocery, 2x fuel. I think you can get there very easily using the credit card. And this you can't do with Caesars. You can't spend your way to 7 stars on the credit card. It's very sad. I
Yeah.
do it.
Right.
But
Right.
when that promo is on the 3x, I think it's totally worth flying into PA or New Jersey. But if you're going to gamble anyway, then yeah, you could try to focus on the accelerator. And I think it's super worth it to get platinum because platinum is a $600 flight rebate that you get from them. They used to give it in cash, but now it's free player comps, is my understanding. You get an annual cruise with Celebrity or Royal Caribbean, and they might be changing those partners going forward. You get what they call a $200 dining comp. But in my experience, I was able to go to the MGM Rewards Desk or Players Club, and they just added 200 to my account rather than forcing me to use it in one visit. So personally, I'd rather spread 200 across multiple visits rather than whale out at a steakhouse. If I can get whatever 200 divided by 1250 is worth of Amphora Lounge or stacking the My Vegas rewards, getting the 20 off of 40, I think it's going to be more bang for my buck there. So
Right.
platinum really gives you a lot of benefits. And then it's the tier
Does.
matching potentially to other programs in 2025. And
And it,
platinum, I also got a suite upgrade. I had a comp night through My Vegas at Aria, and they upgraded me to Sky Suites on a comp stay. And that room, I believe, would be very expensive, maybe 1,000 or 1,200, even during the week. You also get some priority
right.
line access with platinum. You get the VIP lines. So there's a lot going on with the platinum status. I think there's a lot to be had. So yeah, definitely, if you were close to it at the end of the year, it was certainly worth putting in some play at the end. But hopefully for 2025, it'll be even easier with the MGM credit card for you.
Yeah, and we use the MGM credit card as well. I haven't focused on it because I've not ever had a hard time really hitting platinum. I think I'll pay more attention to it this year for sure. So we put all of our groceries and fuel on that card because that's where you maximize. And then of course our travel for MGM, we put that on there as well. Um,
Oh, the MGM spend, because that's the 3X
yeah,
MGM. Yes. Yeah.
yeah. So we always use that credit card. But although you're like you say, it's nothing but really taxes and tips that we end up putting through that card because everything else, is kind of comp. But
Yep.
I
And
agree.
and the comps, it's interesting that the comps in both programs waive taxes. So if you would go to a restaurant and use comps for a $20 dinner, they're only going to take off 20 in comps. But if you would use a credit card or leave cash on the table and pay, they'd be charging you the taxes on the food purchase as well. So there's a little bit of uplift there with the comps. So if some viewers might think, oh, well, I'll just pay the cash rate and then put it on the Caesars credit card when I'm at Caesars, that's actually not going to be a good play because then they're going to charge you the tax. So you'd be better off just using comps.
Right, right. That's a very good point. And so then you talk to us about how you recommend, I guess you kind of went through it, but go through it all the way of how you to maximize that MGM credit card. You're mostly doing
Yes.
it with online gambling, blackjack, and that kind of thing, right?
Yes. Normally it only earns 1x for loads for online blackjack. So that's not going to be a great return on your money if you can otherwise max it out with the 2x grocery, the 2x fuel, and then the 3x earning days. But some listeners might think, okay, well, I'm going to start getting into the grocery gift cards. I'm going to put my spend on that. So maybe, okay, I'm in a gambling state. So maybe at the end of the month before the statement close, then maybe you can load to BetMGM at 1x. Because if you're playing a game like blackjack and giving up a 0.5%, you still have an advantage. It's quite thin, but you're still getting the tier and comps. And essentially, you're getting a free loan from the bank because then you have the grace period to pay that money back. So then you could use that money to make more money. So that's a little bit more advanced, but it's a
Right.
funny thing with these credit cards where if your MGM statement were to close on, let's say, January 5th, and you were to make charges January 6th, if they had the 3x promo, well, then it's statement close date in about maybe 28 days or so. And then you get the grace period to pay back the bank. So you're getting maybe like 50, 60 days of an interest-free loan in some sense. So that's a really interesting thing. Whereas if you were to go in the casino, you have to put your own $100 bills in the machine to play whatever games you're playing. So if you can leverage credit and use credit responsibly and gamble responsibly, then you have a lot to gain, including spending your way to status on the MGM credit card. And then yes, it's three.
Definitely
Okay.
a way to get that edge, for
Yeah.
sure. How are you finding out about the three times promos?
Yeah, so they are a bit mysterious about it. In the past, it's shown up on a banner that if you were to log into BetMGM, the banner on the website in the middle, usually it will show you like, oh, deposit, get this bonus on slots or a sports promo or something. The banner will sometimes announce the multiplier, and they will also send out emails about the multiplier. So after that, I'm relying on my networking and other people I know in different Facebook groups, particularly the Travel Zork Facebook group. And might you have a Facebook group for fans of your show or some way they
I
can
do.
connect?
So we're Destination Jackpot on across all channels. So Instagram,
Okay,
Facebook, X, TikTok, and but yes, yeah, Travel Zork is also a
great.
great one.
So
And
they
Zork,
can look to your page too. I did give you a like on that, but I don't think there's a group page. Maybe it's just your show page. Is that right?
we have a page and a group.
Oh, okay, great. I'll join that after the show then.
Yeah, we have both. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so it's a lot of networking to figure out. And Caesars could be mysterious too about those tier multipliers because I saw you had posted on Instagram, but I didn't see any emails about that. And people in some forums were also saying that their host maybe messaged them
Well,
ahead
so
of
I asked
time.
my host, and so that's where I got the dates from. Is
Oh,
I
that's
my
good. Yep.
host, yeah. So I always ask, and I try to ask about every other month because they're always coming out with more. And I do the same thing. So I want to mention that too. So Caesars is really great about their flight promos or their trips. They offer a lot of trips to Laughlin, Atlantic City, depending on what your hub closest airport is. But that also isn't advertised very well. So I rely on my host to do that. And if I can get, we didn't take advantage of that last year. My goal is to do more of that this year. But if I could get a Reno or an Atlantic City or a Laughlin trip, and I'm getting, airfare for two, my hotel is taken care of from that offer. And then you usually get a food credit as well. That's basically a free trip. I don't have to use my
Yeah.
miles
Hmm.
that I accrue. I don't have to use my United miles. I don't have to use my voucher for my 7 star, my platinum, um, to go there. Right. So
Yeah.
that's another little perk that you've also got to look for. There's a great interview on our channel with the host Brian Gary. I think you have to be at least Diamond Elite, probably earned status to have a host with him. But he goes through and gives you some really good ideas and some tips in that video. And if you're a high enough gambler, he can also host you. But I try to ask those things. But there is also a Caesar's Air. If you don't qualify for a host, you can go look at Caesar's Air and look up some of those trip perks as well. MGM also does do a little bit of that. We have some of our viewers that just went to Biloxi recently. Interesting that I'm platinum and I'm earned platinum with Play, which I think is says something, but I don't get any offers to fly anywhere
Oh.
with MGM. They hardly play at all with MGM, and they got airfare for two. So it's interesting. Another point that I want to mention also with MGM, MGM lets you link your cards together, right? If you're married, you can link your cards together. Mike and I've always done that. What I didn't realize is, though, kind of we're giving up a little bit because if we had ours separated, we may not get to platinum as quickly, but he would be getting offers and I would be getting offers. So you kind of want to before you link those cards, you want to dig into that a little bit deeper because it may not be best for you to do that. Um, So it just depends. There's so many variables to this, and I'm trying to make it as
Yep.
simple as we can. But what I'm hearing, if I want to recap the MGM card, is that you want to look for those multipliers if you're always, not multipliers, the accelerator points, if you're actually playing a casino. Again, you don't want to leave those on the table, right? But the MGM credit card to me, and I think you agree, is by far the best. If you put
Yep.
travel, groceries, and fuel on that. If you're in a state that you're lucky enough to where you can do bet MGM, you can do some of that online blackjack or poker, and really get those points up. Or if you fly into one of those cities, it may be worth doing some of that. If you really want to not earn your way to platinum, but you want to spend your way to platinum without really spending.
Yes.
Makes
And
sense?
it is still considered earned because you do get the tier, whereas it's different with status matching, where you're not viewed the same if you match into a program versus if you get the tier. Because in the
Right.
past, when they would do the status challenges and you would get the gold status, MGM Gold for a limited time, you wouldn't get the benefits like the $100 dining comp. So when
Right.
you're using the credit card, you're actually getting tier. So when your MGM credit card statement closes, then the tier updates on your statement. Caesar's a little bit more mysterious about when it's adding the tier, but in my experience, it eventually got on there. So now, early in the year 2025, it's a good time to get the Caesar's credit card early in the year. And the same thing with the MGM card, too, because now
Yes.
you have most of the calendar year to earn it. Where if you signed up for the card around October or November, if you're listening later, then maybe you won't get the tier for that year or the tier posts in that year, and it's not meaningful because you didn't reach the next level. But now you have the whole calendar year in 2025 to spend on both cards. So I think that's really good. And with MGM, you mentioned travel, but it doesn't bonus general travel. Like if you were to book something with Delta Airlines or United
Right.
Airlines, or
Right.
if you were to go to some random hotel, it's just bonusing the MGM spend, MGM
Thanks for
spend at
thanks for
MGM
clarifying
properties.
that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
as I don't want anyone to get 1x. And the terms can be a bit confusing about what counts and what doesn't, so you have to look at that. But yes, 2x grocery, 2x fuel, sometimes 3x for the online BetMGM loads. And a lot more states have the sports betting too. So maybe you have sports betting, maybe not in Texas, but in other states, listeners, you might be in New York and you can bet sports in New York. So you can load to BetMGM with the credit card, presumably, and state laws can be different. I don't know all of them. Some
I
states block it for some reason, but you can load and do sports betting as well. And I've seen a lot of opportunities like even money bets on the coin toss in the NFL playoffs. So one thing I had done before was bet one book, say $500, it would come up heads at even money, and a different book, 500, it would come up tails at even money. So sometimes in the playoffs, they give some little opportunities like this because normally they'd put some kind of vig into it. It'd be like plus 110, minus 110, something like that. So you couldn't bet both sides and break even on the bet no matter what. And then there are odds boosts and different promos like, oh, if you make a $50 bet, we'll give you a $10 bet after the bet resolves. And Caesars has this too. If you bet $100 in a month, you get a bonus bet the next month as
right.
part of your status benefits. So that's another benefit. So if you're in Atlantic City or another one of the online gambling states, you can take advantage of that probably, but you might need to be like 2 months in a row. So it's kind of
Yes.
quirky. They don't just give you it. You have to be there for the next month. So yes, we want you to come back.
So
So a lot of opportunities with the credit cards. Yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway from this is to be sure to pay attention to what those promos
Yeah.
are. But and I again thank you for clarifying. So what we do is if we're at an MGM property, we give the MGM card. If we're at a Caesar's property, we give the Caesar's card.
Yeah, pretty easy. Yeah.
If I'm doing groceries or fuel, it goes on my MGM card. Yes, because then that
Yes.
I'm
Yep.
maximizing my spend that way, if that helps any of you at all. But I do want to make this very clear because I get this question a lot, and and I read it in Facebook groups. Um, is that your Theo is what gets you your daily theoretical score is what gets you a host. So people say, "Well, I'm platinum and I don't have a host." Well, because maybe you didn't play to earn that platinum, right? That's why status, it doesn't matter what status you are. with any of these casinos. It all has to do with your theoretical score. And you can go watch either of the host interviews that we've done, and they do a pretty good job of explaining what a theoretical is, a daily theoretical. But if you are only spending with gas and spending with groceries and playing very little in a casino, you are not going to get the free play as much. You're not going to get as much comp, and you're not going to qualify for a host. So I want people to understand that it is definitely worth it if you can figure out how to do it and earn platinum status and get that airfare credit, or earn diamond elite status and get that airfare credit, or 7 stars. Because I think with 7 stars, it opened up a ton of things for me. I was really happy, and that's a status I probably won't ever let go of because I felt like it was such a great benefit there.
Yeah.
So hopefully that kind of helps people understand, but I don't want people to think, well, I'm 7 stars or I'm platinum and I automatically should get a host. That isn't what it works by. They do go by what you're spending to be able to qualify for a host.
Yeah, that's right. I could tell you my situation that sorry, there's some footsteps above me. I
Oh, I can't hear.
my okay, good. So my situation is that I have the MGM Platinum status, but I don't get a host. I don't get the room offers, but for me that's okay. When I go to Atlantic City, at this point I'm getting comp nights during the week at Harrah's Atlantic City or the other Caesars properties. So I stay with the comp nights at Harrah's and then I can use my comps and go to the lounge and the buffet and play poker at Borgata. So I'm playing poker at Borgata, and then I'm playing the video poker at Caesars properties when I play. And then when I go to Vegas, I have a booking upcoming for Horseshoe Las Vegas. I have like very cheap $10 a night rates during the week. So I'm going to stay at Horseshoe during the week and then play poker with MGM. As I don't think you want to mess up the theoretical. This was mentioned at Zorkfest that if you were to use your player's card at the table and play poker at Caesars, that's probably going to mess with your theoretical at Caesars. So if I can keep my play, my video poker play with Caesars and do the online blackjack, of course, in PA and New Jersey, and then play poker with the MGM, that's going to be better. Or I would just play poker uncarded and be logged in as a guest. So
Right.
I'm not getting the host with MGM, but I'm getting all the benefits of the status. And then Caesars is covering me for the comp nights. And then on my channel, I go into other tactics like using Wyndham points and staying at the Wyndham properties in Las Vegas, using Hilton free night certificates, staying at Waldorf Astoria, Hyatt rates at Rio, Las Vegas. So Las Vegas is super value destination in my estimation. In Atlantic City, I'm getting a lot of benefits. I think I'm going to go for the 7 stars as well this year. I'm starting the year and I already have about 1,200 tier because I'm getting some tier from the online blackjack play in PA and New Jersey.
Right.
And it's looking like it's 1 tier per $25 played through. So if I'm able to play on the linked Caesar sites in PA, drive 20 minutes, go to New Jersey,
Right.
I'm looking at doing that. I play poker at Philly Live Casino, and I can cross the bridge from Live Casino into Deptford Township, New Jersey, and it's like a 10 or 15-minute drive. So I can go to
You're
Panera, play
lucky
on my
that,
laptop
yeah.
to take advantage of both states to get more tiers. So I think my exposure in video poker is going to be pretty low for the year. So I might be the only person doing this to try to get 7 stars this manner. So I'll be updating and see how it goes throughout the year. But I'm excited to get it.
So
I see a
everyone,
lot of benefits. Yeah.
watch your channel, and we'll definitely have you back for more interviews on more topics because you
Yep.
are great with a lot of different credit card and how to do credit card spend and how to maximize. So I definitely want to touch on some of that. There's so many things, and my mind gets to spinning um, that you can use to maximize. Oh, I know. I think what I was going to say was talking about my play. So I play slots, and I just want to make sure not to mess up my ADT and my Theo. That's the point that I wanted to make. Um, so what our kind of general rule of thumbs is if you are going to be at a property and you're only going to play 1 or 2 machines and maybe only 30 minutes, don't put your card in because that's going to mess up your daily theoretical. But if you plan on playing for a few hours at a property, then put your card in. That's where that concentrated 1 day helps, right? So if you are staying and taking advantage of a offer at Horseshoe, like you were talking about, and you take one day and you really play hard that day and take advantage of all the accelerators and things, and then spend the rest of your time maybe at other properties. That is probably going to be better than taking and just doing an hour here, an hour there, an hour here. Or even sometimes people will just by habit put it in and only play one machine and then they're out. That really brings your daily theoretical down. So you want to be really careful of doing that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's right. That's similar to the poker situation that would mess with my rating. So yeah, if you were only to do a half an hour session in a day, at that point I'd just say either don't play or yeah, play uncarded. But
right.
I'm looking to focus my play on the tier multiplier days. Although they do have fine print that if you take an offer and don't play on a stay, then you may be removed from future offers. So that's another consideration. So maybe if you did take a comp stay for the 4 days and there were no multiplier, maybe play at least 500 tier at Caesars to get the benefit. What are your thoughts on that? Have you played every trip if you were to take a comp stay, or what's that been
So,
like?
so if I take a comp stay, we play at those properties. So for instance, we came down to Vegas. We were at a conference and I knew it was going to be, it wasn't Zortfest, it was a different conference. I knew I wasn't going to be able to play. So we have a Wyndham timeshare. So we actually stayed at our timeshare for that time, so that we didn't mess up our daily theoretical at all.
Yeah.
Because I knew if I took an offer from Caesars or MGM, I wouldn't have to play and it would mess up my future offers. So my rule is if I take an offer, I'm going to play. And I'm going to play that resort. And same thing is if I'm staying at a Caesar's property, I don't go over to MGM and play.
Yeah.
Uh, and if I go to MGM, I don't go over to Caesars and play. I try to concentrate my play there. So it's kind of like I tell people, they're not just giving you an offer just to give it to you. You have to earn it, So you want to be careful and not take advantage because if you take an offer and you don't give anything and you don't play at all, then you're not going to get offers moving forward, right? I mean,
Yeah, that makes sense. So
yeah.
what would be the minimum tier that you would do at a Caesars property? Might it be 500 tier to get the bonus 125 or maybe 1,000 tier to get the bonus 1,000?
So generally, before we started the channel, my goal always at a Caesar's property was to hit 1,000 tier credit, and if I'm at an MGM property, I try to hit 5,000 tier credit in a day.
Okay. Yeah, that
That
seems good.
that keeps my comps, pretty steady. I get good free play. I get good food and beverage comps, and I feel like I'm at least doing my part. Now, there's been times when I've lost, and I don't
Oh,
get
of
to
course.
that
Yeah,
tier
yeah.
credit. So I don't want people to think you have to get that tier credit. Because you still want to be respectful of your daily budget. So we always have a daily budget, and we try not to spend more than that daily budget. And I really encourage people to do that. So but I do have it in my head that I need to try to get to 1,000 at Caesars and I need to try to get to 5,000 to your credits at MGM to keep those good offers and good free play. But it is interesting too. I will say that with MGM, you automatically, if you're a player, you're going to have those free comps, free nights, but you're also going to get some free play and a pretty significant. I mean, I don't know, we'll get $575 in free play and
Wow, that's good.
$300 food and beverage credit, depending on which property we choose. Um, that's pretty good. I mean, I can go on $300 in Vegas for Mike and I for 3 or 4 nights and use $300 covers our food for the most
Yeah.
part.
And
I'm
you
not eating
stack the My Vegas and you're getting almost double the value.
right, and I'm not eating that. That's not eating extravagant, right? I'm not doing $100 meal or $200 meal. We budget that, and we show that on our channel. So they are really good about free play and food and dining credits. Caesars isn't as giving, in my opinion, with free play or the dining credit. But what we love about Caesars are the shows. So last year we saw Adele, we saw Garth Brooks, we saw Shania Twain, all with fantastic seats. And that to us, because we love concerts, we have a concert bucket list. So that was huge, for us to be able to go see those. We probably wouldn't have spent the money. So I'll take that any day and then make sure I'm playing enough. And then my food's always comped anyway, right?
Yeah.
So that's, I think, a kind of how we try to do it so that it works out. If I do 1,000 at Caesars a day, tier credits. If I, as long as I'm not going too wild and extravagant on my food, they usually take care of all those charges.
Oh,
Um,
that's pretty good. That's pretty
minus,
good.
minus your tips and minus your taxes. That's never taken care of. But yeah, so that kind of works. So there's so many ways, and I look forward, Justin, to working with you and having you back on our channel again and sharing more tips and seeing where this goes. So everybody, please make sure you like, share, and comment below what other topics you'd like to hear Justin and I touch on and take care of. And be sure to visit his podcast, Hurdy Gurdy Travel, on YouTube and across all the other socials, and give him some support as well. So, so glad we met, Justin. Do you have anything else, any final thoughts you'd like to go over?
Yes, thanks for promoting the channels there. I have the podcast, maybe a podcast episode every week or so. It's depending on travel. But on the YouTube, I've committed to doing daily content. So now it's about 7 weeks. So I'm putting up daily content, whether it's a bonus travel video, whether it's a clip from an episode. I have the full length episodes on YouTube, and then I have clips following. As I've heard, oh, 45 minutes is long, an hour's long. Oh, I tune out, this and that. So the clips are more concentrated, maybe like 3 to 5 minute clips, and the travel videos around that same time too. So there's something for everyone, even for those with lesser attention spans.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I have that. And there are also examples of play on my channel. I made a video poker video where I'm talking about the basic strategy and how to think about the game, what are some of the priorities in the game, and blackjack as well with the strategy card talking through. I think blackjack's a very easy game to learn, video poker a little bit more difficult. So there's a lot for listeners. I'm looking to blend the worlds of miles and points and gambling to make money, save money, and travel at low cost.
at low cost. Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
pay for your airfare, don't pay for your food, don't pay for your hotel stays. And then you have that entertainment budget. It sounds like you're doing a great job with even maximizing that. So you're not really out too much there. So,
Oh,
uh,
absolutely. Yeah. It's been really nice. And yeah, it was good meeting you at Zork Fest. So
yeah,
hopefully again at the end of 2025
I
and
don't
good to
guess
chat
those
today.
dates, so I'll have to look those up again. But yes, we
Early December, December
definitely
2025.
definitely be attending that again for sure. That was fun and met lots of great people. And I encourage any of you that are really serious about maximizing your points and miles to attend Zork Fest, because that's almost like a job. I mean, those people are serious. Zorkers are serious about
Yeah. All the
miles,
Zorkers, yeah. Yeah,
points. Yeah,
although I must say to listeners, sometimes people can think, oh, it has to take full time, it has to do this and have to do that. But I tell people just look, start small, get
right,
one credit card, maybe two credit cards, maybe it's the MGM and Caesars to start. And then, okay, look, I've accomplished my goals. I put the 5,000 spend on the Caesars card. So now maybe I'll consider adding another one like the Chase Sapphire Preferred is usually a good in for maybe 4,000 spend in 3 months. And then, okay, well, I can shift my expenses to the other card. I'm going to get a big sign up bonus. I'm going to get some travel benefits. So the casino loyalty and the credit card programs are very similar. As you're getting this and that benefit, maybe you're paying a little annual fee here and there, like $95, $99 annual fee, but the benefits are worth it, especially if you're traveling a lot. But I went down the rabbit hole, and after I had success with the first few cards, then I looked at, okay, well, how can I spend in more creative ways? And now that's where the online gambling comes in. That if I could
right.
use credit to indirectly or even directly with the MGM credit card fund gambling, then those spend goals don't seem so daunting as how am I going to spend $5,000 in 3 months? Oh, look, I'm on frugal lifestyle here, and I'm
Right.
not going out and buying these designer clothes or expensive food, this and that. So there are a lot of creative ways to spend to get more of these cards and more of these bonuses. So yeah, it's become a full-time thing in a way for me. I'm still playing poker. I'm still doing the gambling stuff as well, but it doesn't have to be full-time for everyone. Just start
Yeah.
small and scale up over time with what you're comfortable with.
So Mike and I do maximize our MGM and Caesars credit card, and then we have a United mileage plus card because United is a hub here, and we maximize those benefits as well, so that we never have to pay for our trips. And I will tell you that when we got stuck in the airport the other day for 12 hours because
Oh
of
no.
all the bad weather, it was luxurious to have the United Club pass because they weren't taking, you couldn't pay, right? They shut all that down because it was such a bad travel day. And we got to at least rest in comfort food and drinks while we waited in that airport for 12 hours. While a lot of other people were sitting on the floor because there was no room. So with that, and then we also get each two bags. It's a $4.95 annual fee, but we each get two bags each way, and up to 70 pounds. That's a big deal when you travel as heavy as I do. With as
Yes.
much stuff as I travel with, that's a huge benefit because we travel often. And those free bags and that United Club Pass, that adds a lot of value for us.
Yes. And some people get scared of the annual fees, but in the first year, you're getting the big welcome offer that's offsetting the annual fee. And you're never locked into an annual fee for life because when it posts the second time for your second year with the card, then you have options of whether you want to downgrade the card to a lesser annual fee card, or you possibly can cancel the card if it makes sense to do so and the annual fee is still too high. But I know even with the United card that some people just downgrade to the United Explorer card that's a $95 annual fee or $99 annual fee, but you get the free check bags. So
Right.
some people that might not use the clubs or might not travel as often, well, okay, I can keep the card at only a $100 annual fee and I fly twice a year and I'm ahead on the annual fee. So it's not a problem, especially at the $100 price point. But people get
Exactly.
so intimidated. Oh no, I'm not paying a $500 annual fee. They're willing to play slots. They're willing to do all these other things and go to
I
steakhouse, but not the $300 annual fee. Oh no, not the 100. I can't do that. So
Yeah,
it's you're just seeing it as a valuable benefit. And in time, perhaps more credit cards. As I often say, the answer to everything is more credit cards.
more credit cards. Yeah. Keep your credit well, pay them off, don't pay that interest fee, gamble
Yep.
responsibly, and have some fun trying to travel for less. So uh,
Yes.
until
Yeah,
next,
Atlantis coming up. I'm excited for that. I'll be going to Vegas at the end of January, another Atlantic City trip in January. So lots of destinations and hopefully lots of jackpots.
that's good for us too. So I'm keeping our calendar a little bit more free. I last year we had it all booked out all the way at the beginning of the year, and we decided this year to be a little more spontaneous. So it'll be exciting. So stay tuned to our channel across all socials, Destination Jackpot. Check out Justin at Hurdy Gurdy Travel and stay tuned for more because we'll be coming back and bring you even more tips and tricks and help you travel for less. So see you next time.